Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to those that liked and shared my last video. In the last video I was talking about how to discover purpose. In this video I'm going to talk about how to pursue purpose, because when you know what God has called you to do, you need to run after it. It's not enough to just sit down and be okay with it. You need to pursue it. So first of all, let's define what let's define what pursue means. Pursue means to follow, to chase, or to run after. Okay, so if you don't pursue what God has called you to do, there are people out there that are waiting for you to give birth to what God has put in the inside of you. For example, if you're called to be a doctor and through the inspiration of the Holy Spirit you've given the solution to cancer, there are people who are dying from cancer every single day. If you refuse to follow that up, if you refuse to pursue that, God's just going to look at you and be like, you know what, I'm going to take that away from you and give it to somebody else who is willing to pursue it. If God has called you to be a designer and maybe to make a modest clothing line that is stylish, that's fashionable, and you refuse to do that, there are young girls out there who want to be in fashion, want to be in trend, but there's no modest clothing line, and you're sitting down there, you're not doing anything about it, or you've decided to do something else, God's just going to take that thing away from you and give it to somebody else. So it's really, really important that you pursue whatever God has called you to do. Now I'm going to give you some steps on how to go about it. When I discovered what God has called me to do, I was finished my first degree. Bear in mind I spent about 3 years doing my first one, and I had to go back to school. I had to go back and get some kind of certificate on it. Now for those of you that don't know, I am a hand embroidery designer, so obviously I couldn't walk into a company and be like, hey, you know, God just showed me that I'm a designer now, so I need to be working here. No, I need to gain more knowledge. I need to go back to school and learn more and get more experience. You need to show yourself approved. So it's important that you go back and you gain more knowledge. It might be painful depending on what age and what stage you are, but it is vital and it is important. Another step to go about pursuing your purpose is getting inspiration from the Holy Spirit. I cannot emphasize on this enough. Bear in mind, whatever God has called you to do, there are plenty of people out there who've been in that profession, who's been in that field. So there's plenty of doctors out there, there's plenty of nurses out there, there's loads of lawyers, loads of designers, loads of speakers out there. What is going to differentiate you from the rest is where your inspirations are coming from. If your inspiration is coming from the Holy Spirit, you will be different from the rest. People will see it, people will recognize it. You are called to be something with a difference. If you're called to be a doctor, it's a doctor with a difference. If you're called to be a singer, it's a singer with a difference. There's no point in you being the same as the rest and you've got the Holy Spirit in you. It's not going to work. You need to differentiate yourself. I remember when I was looking for ideas for my collection that I'm working on now, and I was Googling and I was looking at other artists and all of that, and the Holy Spirit was like, look, I want you to stop Googling, I want you to stop looking around, I want you to stay in your room, get a pen, get a sheet of paper, and I'm going to give you ideas. And my ideas came from there. Now people will be asking me, oh, where does your idea come from? Who do you look up to? The reality is I ask from God, because if you don't, you're just going to be a photocopy of something that is already done, and people are going to know. So it's important that you ask the Holy Spirit to give you ideas so you can be different from the rest. You can stand out from the rest. It might take some time and people may not understand it, people may not understand the vision, but after a while people will accept it. So please inquire from God for ideas. Make sure you look up to the Holy Spirit. Make sure you look up to God for inspiration. It's really, really important. My next point to pursuing your purpose is to inquire from God. Now, during the time when I discovered mine, I am going to do a video on how I discovered my purpose and how I went about it, but for this video I'm not going to go deep into all of that. But what do I mean by inquiring from God? Whatever God has called you to do is bigger than you. The vision is bigger than you. The calling is bigger than you. In fact, when you see the vision, you could be so scared that you might not want to pursue it. You might just leave it on the shelf and do your own thing. you need to bring the Holy Spirit every step of the way. You need to ask God every step of the way, because there will be challenges, there will be obstacles, there will be times where you don't understand what's happening, you don't know what's going on, but God's just leading you. So you need to inquire from God every step of the way. When I was looking for a course and I couldn't find one that I loved, I couldn't find one that kind of, gave me peace, I had to go back to God. Because if he tells you to do something, then he knows where you should go. He knows what you should do. He knows the next step to take. So every step of the way, bring God along. Do not leave him along. Do not leave him behind. Sorry, not bring God along. Bring the Holy Spirit along. God's in heaven. The Holy Spirit is here. Bring the Holy Spirit along with you. Do not leave him behind. So that's the few steps on how to go about pursuing purpose. I hope I've answered this question. If you have any other question that you want me to answer on this channel, please send me those questions on Instagram. You can follow me there at damila2306. You can follow me on Twitter at dami2306. You can also follow me on Facebook at damilizzy. Until my next video, guys, stay blessed and stay beautiful. Bye.